Suburban Sentinel here with a continuation of my long overdue series on wet shaving, also known as badger and blade shaving. In previous videos, we have looked at the fundamentals of wet shaving, and we've examined the razors, the razor blades, and shaving soaps. Today we are turning our attention to the brushes. Shown on the screen here are a couple of examples of common shaving brushes. So let's first look at what is the purpose or purposes of these brushes. Well, there's two main reasons we use a brush when we wet shave. First, we use the brush to build a lather. In other words, we take a shaving soap, usually in a cake or puck form, such as this. This is a cake form. And we need to turn it into a thick, rich, creamy lather. And we do it by stirring a combination of soap and water together with the brush. The second purpose of the brush is to work the shaving lather into our skin. Notice that I said into, not just on. When you shave with what's now a regular razor and the store-bought Goop shaving cream or shaving gel, essentially you're putting the foam on your skin. When you wet shave, you're actually going to work the lather into your skin, and in general it gives you a much better shave. There are two characteristics we look for in a shaving brush: water retention and heat retention. The more moisture that can be maintained in these bristles and the hotter it stays, the better it is for building your lather and applying it into your face. Shaving brushes come in a variety of types, sizes, and shapes. So let's delve into that just a little bit. First, there are two main classifications with respect to shape: bulb and fan. Both of these shaving brushes are bulb types. They look more like a light bulb on the end. The fan type obviously looks more spread out on the ends and appears to be like a lady's fan. When we talk about shaving brushes, we're generally concerned with three different measurements or dimensions. The first is the overall length, which is simply the length from stem to stern, from the tip of the handle to the top of the bristles. The second is the knot size, and this portion in here where the bristles are is the knot, and the size of the knot is often measured in millimeters. Finally, we talk about loft, and that is simply a measurement from the bottom of the knot to the very tip of the bristles. The loft and knot sizes, along with both the overall length and the shape of the handle, are essentially matters of personal preference. Sorry, Bella the cat just decided to join us. Come here, Bells. Belle the camera cat has decided she would help. So while she's playing around here, let's spend a significant amount of effort talking about the bristles. And this is essentially where the rubber meets the road with respect to shaving brushes. The bristles are made out of a variety of materials. So let's go through those quickly. Brushes can be made out of cheap synthetics such as nylon. They are also sometimes made out of more exotic synthetics. I don't know what the composition is, to be honest with you. Third, there are brushes made from a combination of synthetic and natural materials. A significant portion of shaving brushes are made out of boar's hair. Fifth, some brushes, and these haven't been made for a while, but they're starting to make a comeback, is horsehair shaving brushes. And finally, there are badger hair brushes, which is where the term badger and blade shaving is derived. Cheap synthetic or nylon brushes are low performance. They don't work all that well. They have very poor durability, but they are extremely inexpensive. you can get a nylon shaving brush for just a couple of dollars. The more exotic synthetic ones can be had for around $10 to $15, and I really have no experience with them. The brushes that are made of a synthetic natural fiber mix, I have no experience with those either, but from what I understand, you can have those for around $15 to $20, and the performance is acceptable, although the durability is not that great. Moving on to bore brushes. Bore brushes have fairly good performance with respect to water and heat retention. They have fairly decent durability, and they're not very expensive. You can get a pretty good bore brush for around 15 bucks. Horsehair, about the same performance and durability as bore. Some people prefer the horsehair, and it's around the same price, $15. Bella got tired of playing with the brushes, so I'm sure she's off to destroy something else. Let's move on to badger hair. And this is where things get a little more complicated. Badger brushes come in a variety of grades. And badger brushes are, as I'm sure you've guessed, made from actual badger hair. Most of the badger hair comes from China because badgers are considered a pest and are routinely exterminated. Anyway, there are 4 major grades of badger hair brushes. Pure, best badger. The third category is called superior, sometimes referred to as fine. And the highest category is known as silver tip. First problem, there is no standard grading system among the grades of badger hair brushes. It's kind of up to the manufacturer to grade their product. So there's a lot of overlap among the different manufacturers. Pure badger hair just means that the hair came from somewhere on that badger. The downside to pure badger hair, it's not nearly as good as the higher grades with respect to moisture and heat retention. The next 2 categories, best badger and superior or fine badger, essentially seem to be terms of art. At least for me, it's very hard to distinguish between those 2 grades, and I really think it depends on the manufacturer. Finally, silver tip badger is supposed to come from the most noteworthy and most desirable portion of the badger near the tail, where the water and heat retention is the best. At least in theory, a well-crafted badger brush of any grade is supposed to give you better performance than other materials such as boar's hair or horsehide or a synthetic. Badger hair brushes can be purchased for as little as $35 up to well over $200, depending on the manufacturer, the grade, the handle material, and a variety of other factors. Bella is back, obviously. If you are looking for the ultimate in shaving performance and durability, you want a silver tip badger brush from a reputable manufacturer. But of course, these come at a cost. This brush on the chrome stand here is a silver tip badger brush from Merkur, and this brush today I think runs about $125. Next to it is a Jagger, an Edwin Jagger. This is also a badger brush, but this is a best grade quality rather than a silver tip. I use this one when I travel because I don't want to bring my good brush with me. And this brush runs around $50 today, I believe. If you're just getting into wet shaving, or you want to give it a try for a couple of days, you may want to purchase an ordinary synthetic brush at a discount store for just a couple of dollars. The downside is, of course, it won't last very long, and you're going to have to work a little harder to build a decent lather and work that lather into your face. But for just a few times to see if you like wet shaving, I think it's a real good investment. If you decide wet shaving is for you, you can later move up to either a boar hair, horsehair, or badger brush. If you decide wet shaving is really for you and that's all you're going to do for the rest of your life, you may want to invest in a high quality silver tip type brush like we have here. These brushes, if you take care of them, will last indefinitely and their performance is unparalleled. So that is a quick primer on shaving brushes, right, Bella? You could use a shave. You're pretty furry. Anyway, this is the Suburban Sentinel, along with Bella the Camera Cat. If you like what you see, please thumbs up and subscribe. Questions and enlightening comments are always welcome. Shave carefully, everybody.